the Women Unleashed podcast. Join us as we share with you the confronting, fun, wild, fucked up, epic, and raw side of being a woman in today's world.
Come along on our journey as we dive deeply into what makes us tick and how we create our lives. Nothing is off limits. Welcome back to the Women Unleashed podcast. I am your co-host, Britt, and Taylor, our other co-host, is here with us.
Hello.
For another week of smashing Women Unleashed conversation.
Woohoo.
Okay, so this episode rounds out the quartet or mini-series of mortgages.
Yes.
I love that. Quartet. Just came up with that.
I'm like, you sound real fancy.
Super fancy. Okay. When we were preparing for this mini series, as sometimes happens when you do things, memories of experiences past, recent past, long time past, can come up, and something came up for Taylor.
Yes, and I'm a little bit nervous to talk about it, but I think let's just get into it. Hey?
Yeah, let it all out. This is the container for it, and the whole world gets to hear it, as we discovered.
Yes, and we want to be authentic and authentic and unleashed. Bring it out. Can't even remember the name of my own podcast. But yeah, we want to be authentic and unleashed and show our true selves, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, just what happened in the past. That's what happened, and it doesn't mean anything about you now.
No.
So, yeah.
No.
All right, let's dive on into it. So, you've been how long have you been a mortgage broker for?
I've been a broker since 2017.
Okay.
So 5 years.
Okay.
And I worked in the industry for nearly 2 years, about a year and a half before that as well, doing back end for for mortgage brokers too.
Okay, so say 7?
Yeah.
5 plus 2-ish. And when would you say that like your business actually started making bank?
Probably after the third year. So the last 3 years it started really growing. And it went from like 0 to 100 within a year. And I just did not know how to be with that, I guess. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to manage the money coming in and also all the bills that come with the money coming in. So, your tax and your BAS and super and obviously my own personal expenses like rent and groceries and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. All right, Taylor. Well, tell us where do you want to start?
Well, I think let's just start at the start, shall we? So as I just shared, I grew my business quite quickly. And I went from basically very small figures to, I think, quite decent figures within a year. And I got myself in trouble, really, financially. I was not leaving enough money to cover the tax and the BAS that would be due. And I was just having too much fun, I guess. I was just using my money on recreational things rather than putting it away and saving it or putting it towards things. I don't get me wrong, I did save, but I probably didn't really budget what that savings should really look like. Like I was probably over saving to compensate for the overspending, if that makes sense. And I ended up buying a unit with an ex-partner at the time. Even through that whole process of my and that was probably just before I got into my tax issues.
Okay, right. So you were like, woo, of spending, saved all this money, better buy a house.
Yep.
Of which we're currently in right now, we're recording from.
Yes. So didn't really know what was coming, you know. And the recreation spending I mitigated and obviously reined it in when we got really serious about buying a house as well. But yeah, the tax debt then snuck up on me. Basically after I bought the house, and I ended up about this time last year in a world of financial hurt. I was in about $40,000 worth of debt and bills. I just left my partner at the time, and there was debt left over from that I needed to recoup. I also had to figure out what to do with the house that we'd bought together, and selling it wasn't going to do me any good.
Okay, why not?
I would have basically maybe walked away with 10 grand, which was, it's just, if I could buy it off him, it would have been more financially viable for me.
Okay, yeah.
And if I bought him out, I'd have to go in to 30 grand worth of debt as well to do that. So
is that on top of the 40?
Yes.
Wow.
So I had to find $70,000.
Wow. Okay.
Right. And I settled on the house in December. So I had to find it quick smart to make it work. So I guess my rock bottom was sitting on the floor in tears, realizing that I was responsible for where I had put myself. Yeah. And as much as I wanted to blame my ex for his financial or lack of financial education and spending, it really was not fair. It was on me. And I had put myself in a position that was something that I know what to do. I'm very aware. I mean, I am a mortgage broker, for God's sake. And yet I had put myself in a terrible situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, give us the whole world of it. Like so you've broken up, you're in all this debt, you've met someone new, and you're like, how the hell did I get here?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Like, you feel sorry for yourself for a little while. You're a bit of like, play that victim card, like, oh, poor me. I've got all this debt and fuck my ex. It's his fault. But, you know, and then I'm like, well, complaining and blaming him is not going to get me anywhere, is it?
No.
Like, I have to make a plan. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
I made a plan. But I guess before that, the world of it was a lot of, I'm a fraud because I'm helping people get into homes and I can't even sort my own shit out.
Yep. Which, like, is probably why you hesitated to even do this podcast.
Yeah, I didn't really want to do this episode because I just thought people are going to think I'm like, who would want to use me, right?
Yeah.
I just felt like a loser. You know, like, what a fucking idiot. And even now thinking about it makes me want to cry because I just could not believe I got myself in such a difficult situation when all I needed to do was just manage my money better at the time, you know?
Create like habits that have money flow.
The habits I
right
teach
direction.
others to do, the stuff I know.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so you're crying on the lounge room floor of your new boyfriend's place, going, how the fuck did I get here?
Yeah.
It's everyone else's fault.
Yeah.
And then what happened next?
And I just, like, back into the world of that. I had people telling me to sell my house because it's too hard to sort your shit out.
Oh, okay.
So I had people like, sell it and clean yourself up rather than try and make it all work because I needed to pay out that debt to be able to do the house. And people just thought, you doing that's just not possible. So I was also in the world of like, I can't do it. Like I don't have the resources or the ability to make this work.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Sorry to cut
So
your question off.
against people's, advisement. I hate using that word.
Yeah.
Against what people are saying, you went, no, I'm gonna do it differently. I'm gonna keep this place. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna walk out of here with a lot more than.
Yeah, and my partner as well, my new partner, he was really good at helping me with, assisting me with the plan and giving me some tools as well. Being a business owner himself and being quite successful. Mm-hmm. So that definitely, he was on like my team the whole time, which was cool. But yeah, having people telling me to me, it felt like giving up. Was it was hard too.
Yeah. So what was like, the one foot in front of the next? What did that look like?
Well, so sat down, I think the same night I was crying on the floor and we just sorted out, I just sorted out a plan. I'm like, what do I need to do? How do I need to make it look? What does my business need to look like to make it work? And then I guess within...
Well, what did it need to look like to make it
right.
work?
So, yeah, good question. So I needed to pay out about $20,000 worth of tax and Bastet. I needed to pay out some credit card debt. I needed to pay for solicitors for the separation. I had some other business, like ongoing business stuff. BAS comes up every quarter. It's not just so I had to have money for that. My car was a shit box. It wasn't probably very safe to drive, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember that car.
And I needed to figure out a way to buy the house because that's what I really wanted to do. I knew that if I could buy this house, it would be a lot better financially for me than selling it and having to try and get back in the market with the little deposit I would have started with. And I also wanted to, have some savings, like have money in the bank and invest in other things as well because I knew I can. So I guess the stepping stones was really changing my business. I was doing a lot of work for free. Really, I was helping people a lot with their stuff rather than working on my own. I was probably getting a shitty end of some of the referral deals, paying out too much, not receiving enough. And my process was just doing a lot of work that wasn't really bringing in the results that I needed. So just busy being busy, Yeah. It's
easy to be busy. It really is.
Yeah. And I just got my budget sorted and I stuck to it, And I sat with my accountant and worked out what it needs to look like as well each quarter to make sure that I'm ahead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of stuff.
Yeah, to go from 70 grand worth of debt to work out a plan. How did it feel when you had like your partner on your team, you had your accountant on your team, you had a plan in place? What was your experience of yourself? Even though you hadn't achieved any of those things yet, you're like, all right. What was that like?
It was a lot of empowerment. I was really empowered, and I was excited. There was a bit of excitement there to see what I could do, and motivation, to just get my shit sorted.
It was possible.
Yeah, it was possible, and to have the life that I've always known I can have, because I had the tools and I had the money. I just wasn't managing it properly.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Cool. All right. And then fast forward 6 months, which would be 6 months ago, because this is a recent transformation. So, what did the halfway point look like?
So I paid out all my tax and Bastet. I did get
How did you do that?
I sold my car. Ended up getting a new car. That worked out. And then my mum did actually help me with a little bit of money for a gift. The rest of it I paid off myself just with earning the money.
Through your business?
Through my business, earning the money. I saved. I had double digits in savings that I'd never had before.
Mm-hmm.
All my bills were up to date. I even had money put away for Bass and, all the other bills coming.
Yeah.
I enrolled my auntie into assisting me with my house to help me pay out my ex.
Okay, yep.
So I did have to go into a bit of debt to do that.
So you got a loan from your auntie?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Got a loan from my auntie. But then I settled on my house, and now I own my house by myself.
Mm.
And I even put more into the mortgage than I need to.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've got savings and I've got shares.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking to buy another house because I've now got the equity to do that because I kept the house.
Yes.
you know? So I've made nearly $100,000 on this house.
Mm-hmm.
Where I could have had 15 grand if I was lucky, if I sold it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And for all the discomfort that I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to do it, to have people around you that knew what they were doing and supported you, that takes courage.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it was a lot. And some people weren't supportive. Sometimes you got to go against what everyone else thinks and just do what you can do.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah, believe in yourself. And I'm so glad I did. It's good to go through that stuff, as hard as it is, and as much as what I do for work, being a mortgage broker, makes me feel like a fool that I even am sharing it. It's also been a blessing because I've learnt so much, and I really know now what it's like, because sometimes things can be really conceptual if you don't actually go through it yourself.
Yeah.
You don't really know what the struggle can be like. I'm not saying like I want everyone to struggle because that's not, but it's definitely shown me the strength I have and that I can, that anything's possible for me.
Yeah. And like you have a lot of power being able to stand and sit in front of people who are in your position potentially and say, look, I've actually been there. Mm-hmm. Like it's now your asset. Like each triumph over an unfortunate circumstance, is an opportunity.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Exactly. So
pretty incredible.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
And how has the performance of your business gone since, like, you've actually got your shit together?
A lot better. I'm a lot more productive, and I'm doing deals that I feel. I'm not doing a lot of free work. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I slip into it. It's very easy for me to slip back into helping people for free. Mm-hmm. But then I just correct it and keep pushing on the path that I want to, that I know is the path that works.
Cool. And so is it like, can you quantify it like financial terms? Like, are you turning over more? Is it like because
I am. I'm probably turning over,
say, percentages. You don't have to like
probably I don't even no, maybe 50% more, like
50% more. That's nuts, Taylor. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think so.
In the space of a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're actually practicing what you preach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Just
Amazing.
means everyone can do it.
Yeah. Doesn't matter where you start. Just get the right people on your team. And there is, I know I've read The Barefoot Investor, and he, there's like free financial servicing services available like to people if you are experiencing financial hardship. So like there's always a way.
Yeah, there is. And Rich Dad Poor Dad, I must say, that book is really good to get it. It's very good.
It's incredible because what you were sharing is that you had whilst you had money coming in, you still had the same habits of a poor person, right? Or
basically.
Not a poor person. It's a person with poor money habits. And it didn't matter how much money you made, you would have still had poor habits. And now you're correcting that.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
life
I'm
is
just
turned
learning
around.
and growing and yeah.
Being awesome. Being
Thanks.
a miracle.
Thanks.
How does it feel now that you've shared that with everyone?
Nice. It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still scared what people may think or say, but at the same time, I think maybe I'm relatable, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it helps someone, or maybe it gives someone some hope.
Totally.
Something, you know, no, not hope. Let's not talk about hope. Empowers someone to make a stand for yourself in your business or your finances or whatever. Just be a stand for who you really are.
Amazing. Oh, well,
Cool.
Thank you, Taylor, for sharing that vulnerably and boldly.
Thank you.
And I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you have fun sharing what you've gotten out of listening to this episode. Our goal is for our content to reach as many people as possible and become the #1 empowerment for women podcast in Australia. So please make sure you subscribe, share, and leave a review. See you for now.
Bye.